Sambandha Bhashya. Bhashyakara's introduction to Brihadaranyaka Upanishat. It's a huge thing, ji. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So, this Upanishad, it comes from Shukla Yajurveda. Vajasaneya Brahmana. Vajasaneya means Yajnavalkya. The rishi whose mind became manifest to this whole thing was Yajnavalkya. He is otherwise called Vajasaneya. And those who follow that, they are called Vajasaneyinaha. Those who follow the Vajasaneya. Shukla Yajurveda is called Vajasaneyinaha. And a part of it is also followed by the Madhyandinas. There is another shaka called Madhyandina Shaka. All that you need to understand right now is that this Upanishad comes in Shukla Yajurveda. Bas itna bahut hai. Then it says, Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sambradaya Kartribhyo Vamsha Rishibhyo Namo Gurubhyaha. Bhashyakara salutes all his teachers. Om Namo Brahmadibhyaha, right from Brahmaji. Namaha, Namaha Shivaya, fourth case. Similarly, Brahmadibhyaha, fourth case, plural. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahmadibhyaha. My salutation to all, right from Brahmaji. Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartribhyo. Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartribhya. My salutation to those who initiated the Brahma Vidya Sampradayam and who promoted the Brahma Vidya Sampradayam and who carried forward the Brahma Vidya Sampradayam. Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartribhyo. My salutation to Parameshwara and my salutation to all those who initiated and who carried forward the Brahma Vidya Sampradaya. Sampradaya means the teaching tradition. It's a very beautiful thing. Vedanta is not a book in India. Vedanta is a living tradition in India. Did you hear that? Vedanta is not a book, though it is also there as a book. But when we say Vedanta, it is always in the form of Sampradaya. Sampradaya means carried forward from generation to generation. It doesn't mean any fanatical step taken, fanatical stand taken. It is like Bharatanatyam is a Sampradaya. It is just taught from generation to generation. The purity of it is maintained by the Sampradaya. Otherwise some joker can come and adulterate it. Similarly, Vedanta Sampradaya is a living tradition, that is something that maintains the clarity, purity of the Vedanta unfoldment. And Vedanta Sampradayam does not allow any joker to add any interpolation in it, add anything impure to it, add anything distortion to it. That's called the living Vedantic tradition. The most valuable tradition in India is Vedanta tradition, Vedanta Sampradaya. Because all other traditions can mix. Thoda bahut. Not great harm. Even if Bharatanatyam accepts a few Western steps, I don't think it's a big thing, big loss. Kuch nahi. Anyway, it is available to change anyway. Bharatanatyam is available to change. So, but not big harm is done. Innovation can be done in any art, whether it is Bharatanatyam or any other natyam, any other music. Innovation is there. But when it comes to knowledge of a fact, it can't be innovated. 2 + 2 make 4. How do you innovate it? You can't innovate it. Similarly, that the Atma is Brahman, this unfoldment cannot be innovated. It cannot be, made more and more and bring about new changes in it. Therefore, the most beautiful sampradaya in India is, the most useful sampradaya in India is what is called Vedanta Advaita Sampradaya. In fact, Vedanta Sampradaya is enough. Later on we called it Advaita Sampradaya because a lot of Dvaitis came and started reading Dvaitam into Vedanta. Then we became really obsessed with the word Advaita. It is not Advaita Sampradayam, but it is Advaita Sampradayam. Otherwise, before that it was Vedanta Sampradayam. Bas. Therefore, Bhashyakara says here, my salutation to the very Parameshwara who is the source of everything. And my salutation to all those who initiated, like Dakshinamurti, initiated and also carried forward this Vedanta Sampradaya. Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartribhyo Vamsha Rishibhyah. Vamsha Rishibhyah means those who are rishis by family. Vamsha Rishi. By Vamsha. He is a Rishi, his father was a Rishi, his grandfather was a Rishi, his great-grandfather was a Rishi, then he becomes a Vamsha Rishi. I hope you are able to follow. His father was a Rishi, his father's father was a Rishi, and his father was a Rishi. It is a clan of Rishis. And like Buddhalaka was a Rishi, and Shvetaketa also was a Rishi. This is what is called the Vamsha Rishi. Vamsha Rishibhyah. Supposing somebody keeps a name in a simply Rishi. There are a lot of children whose name is Rishi, but he is not a Vamsha Rishi. He is a Pop Rishi. What Rishi? Pop Rishi. Pop Rishi means name, by name, in name Rishi. In name Rishi, not Vamsha Rishi. Therefore, here Bhashyakara says, my salutation to all those who carried forward this beautiful Vedanta Sampradayam, and my salutation to all the sages. For all sages by birth. Vamsha Rishibhyah Namo Gurubhyah, and my salutation to all my teachers. See, once you say Guru, a sannyasi also can be a Guru. A Rishi also can be a Guru. Whereas a Rishi is only cannot be a Yati, a sannyasi. Because Bhashyakara is saluting all the sannyasis and also all the Rishis and Parameshwara. Parameshwara, Rishis and Yatis. You understand the hierarchy, the entire flow? Parameshwara, followed by Rishis, and also slowly followed by Yatis. Yatis were there even before, but picked up. The tradition of Yatis picked up in time. Vamsha Rishibhyo Namo Gurubhyah. Therefore, whenever you get up in the morning, when you think of all of them and salute in your heart, that salutation will bring you grace. Grace is not in the hand of. Grace is not in the hands of the person whom you salute. Grace is in the hands of your prayer. Yes, ji, ye bahut badi baat hai. Grace is not in the hand of, it's not in the hands of, it's not in the hand of Bhagavan even. Supposing you pray to Bhagavan, grace, even though we say grace comes from Bhagavan, actually it comes from your prayer. Your prayer, governed by the law of karma. And the law of karma means Ishvara. And therefore, Swamiji says, the grace that comes from one's own prayer is called gracefully God's grace. You see, it is called God's grace, and that is gracefully putting it, rather than saying it is the grace of my own prayer. But then you say it's the grace of God. Very, very nice. One-person. But even though whatever name you may use, but you have to understand the truth about it. The truth about it is, the one who brings you grace is your own attitude, your own prayer. Your own thinking brings grace. Yes, your own thinking brings grace. If the grace were in the hands of somebody, then you will always have a doubt. Patani denge, nahi denge. Like when you work for somebody, whether you will give money or not, it is always uncertain. Material gifts are uncertain, but grace is certain. Because that is not in somebody's hands. It is in the hands of your own prayer. Therefore, in the morning when you get up, a lot of problems get solved. Get up in the morning, sit down. Hey Bhagavan, you have given me an excellent opportunity to look at the truth. Think of Parameshwara and all the sages and all the yatis. Sada Shiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. You remember them and see. Please keep me in good health, physical health, mental health, household health. Give me health, all-round well-being, all-round health, so that I don't want to lose the opportunity of looking at the truth. I must use my life to understand my being. And this, with that prayer, you get up in the morning. I think that will help a lot. Okay, and because of this prayer, maybe I am imagining, because this prayer that Bhagavan writes the first sentence, he was able to complete the Bhashya ji. Supposing he does not, what is the guarantee? Now, next line. Ushava ashvasya ityevamadya ushava asya. Ushava ashvasya is the first phrase of the first shloka of this Upanishad. Meaning, beginning from this shloka, beginning from this mantra. Ushava ashvasya ityevamadya, starting from this mantra. Vajasa neyi brahmanopanishat. The rest is all called Vajasa neyi brahmanopanishat. Vajasa neyi brahmanopanishat means it is a Brahmanopanishad. It is an Upanishad that belongs to Vajasaneya. Brahmana means the entire Upadesha coming from Yajnavalkya. This much you understand. Vajasaneya means Yajnavalkya. Vajasaneya is another name for Yajnavalkya. Vajasaneya Brahmanopanishad. Before we go further, in the first, I told first adhyaya, second adhyaya, third adhyaya, I am going to tell only the highlights. But as far as the introduction is concerned, I am going to do the whole of it. Because without the introduction, anand nahi aata. Now, in the introduction itself, Bhagavan is going to say here that the Ashwamedha Yaga, which is supposed to be the best, Ashwamedha Yaga is supposed to be the highest karma, Rajasuya Yaga. Otherwise called Rajasuya Yaga. Ashwamedha Yaga is supposed to be the highest, topmost karma, Vedic ritual. And this Upanishad, which is meant to talk about the truth, first highlights the limitation of Ashwamedha Yaga. That way, when you have shown the limitation of the topmost, the highest ritual, then you have also highlighted the limitation of all other rituals. That is the purpose of the Upanishad, beginning with a few details of Ashwamedha Upasana, Ashwamedha Yaga. This Ashwamedha Yaga is of two kinds. One is doing it, the other is just the information about it. The information about it is Upasana. The entire Ashwamedha Yaga, by thinking about it, becomes what? Upasana. Now, Bhashyakara wants to say, whether you do the Ashwamedha karma or you do Ashwamedha Upasana, the result that you are going to get is going to be limited. In which case, all the karmas in Veda and all the upasanas in the Veda, their results are limited. Understanding which one gets, Vairagyam becomes qualified for Brahma Vidya. And that is why highlighting the limitation of a ritual also is a part of Vedanta. Karma Kanda doesn't highlight the limitation of Karma Kanda does not highlight the limitation of karma. Did you hear that? Karma Kanda does not highlight the limitation of karma. It is the Vedanta that highlights the limitation of karma. Therefore, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad begins with highlighting the limitation of Ashwamedha Yaga, the topmost, the highest ritual, in which case it has highlighted the limitation of the entire realm of karma and upasana. That's why here he says, Ushava Ashwasya Ityevamadya. The mantra that begins with this line called Ushava Ashwasya Vajasaneyi Brahmanopanishat. This is called Brahmanopanishat. Brihadaranyaka Upanishat. Tasyaha iyam alpagrantha. Tasyaha of this Upanishad. Iyam, the following. Alpagrantha, brief. Bhashyakara wants to call his own Bhashya very brief. He wants to call his own endless Bhashya as brief. If he had decided to write elaborate, kya hota? Then it would have been, I don't know how big it would have become. Therefore, tasyaha iyam alpagrantha. Alpagrantha means a brief, in a few words. Vrittihi, just a simple explanation. Vrittihi means he is being so humble. I am only writing a brief notes on this Upanishad. Vrittihi means a kind of a notes, kind of a brief commentary, exposition, elucidation, vyakhya. Vrittihi, arabhyate is begun. Bhashyakara says, here is begun by me a brief exposition on this Upanishad called Vajasaneyi Brahmanopanishad. A lot of technical things, I am not going into them. Just this much you understand. Tasyahayam alpagrantha vrittihi arabhyate. For whose purpose, for whose benefit are you trying to write this? For your name, for your fame. You know, name and fame sounded silly for our sages. I'm telling you, this is a very important thing. They were able to get into truth because the whole topic is to find out the The reality, the satyatvam, that the self is the truth and the rest is mithya. Therefore, you are not going to gain popularity within mithya. So the very introduction, the very first step of their education is like this. I want to find out what is the truth, how is Atma the truth, and the rest the false. If your urge is to know the falsity of the whole creation, and I don't think you will have a very, very, very serious desire to become popular in this mithya jagat. That is why they were able to relax and study. Man who is feeling sleepy, does he look for popularity? He is feeling sleepy. His eyes are closing on their own. Does he look for some popularity? I don't think he looks popularity in a realm to which he is closing his eyes to. A realm which he is closing his eyes to, I don't think he will look for any. That's why I understand. Leisure is not time, and leisure means this. There is nothing more for me to achieve. No individual has more than the truth to achieve. You can't achieve more than the truth. You can't achieve in this world more than the truth. Why? Because there is nothing more than that. All right, Bhagavan, you are writing this brief commentary for whose benefit? Very beautifully says, Sansara vyavivrit subhyaha. Those who want to be free from sansara. So here, he has put a very traditional word. He doesn't say, I am writing this brief commentary for those who want a little mental peace. ऐसा नहीं है. थोड़ा सा मन की शांति चाहते हैं लोग, उनके लिए लिख रहा हूँ. But this guy says, I am writing this brief commentary not for those who are interested in some mental peace or mental competence or for some, for what we call, for gaining efficiency in this mundane world. I am writing this brief commentary so that the individual jivas can become more efficient in making money, etc. That's not the language. Sansara vyavivritsuhya. Vyavritsuhu. Vivritsuhu means vyavartitum ichuhu. To return, to come back from sansara. Those who want to have ni vivritsubhya. Ni vivritsubhya means those who want to be free from sansara. It's a san pratyaya. Like jignasu, jnatum ichuhu, mumukshuhu, moktum ichuhu, jagamishuhu, gantum ichuhu. Similarly, vyavritsuhu, vyavartitum ichuhu. I am writing this a brief commentary only for the benefit of those who want to be liberated from sansara, liberated from struggle. That means this bhashya is not going to help you just for a little mental peace or some efficiency. Because right in the beginning he makes a statement that I am writing it only to help those who want to understand the truth. Very safety. Supposing somebody reads Bhashyam and he makes a complaint to Bhashyakara. Supposing he meets Bhashyakara, Shankaracharya, somewhere. No, I read your Bhashyam, but I did not get mental peace. He would say, idiot, I did not write it for your mental peace. I wrote it for your liberation from sansara. Why? Because if you read it for mental peace, you will not get anything. If you read it to determine the truth, it will help you. See, there is a difference between gaining a peaceful mood of the mind. Gaining a simple, peaceful mood of the mind is not the topic. It is meant to help the student to determine what the truth is. Truth determined, peace is taken care of. Peace, truth determined, truth understood, peace is taken care of. The nature of the Atma has to be determined. Okay. Vyavivrit subhyaha. That is why, another beautiful right in this I would like to tell you. Draw your attention to when Bhagavan Krishna says in Gita, you see, yoga karmasu kaushalam. Generally it is always translated as the karma yoga increases your efficiency. It doesn't work. Karma yoga purifies your mind. It is a step towards your moksha, not a step towards your greater efficiency in the world. I don't think it's greater efficiency. Maybe out of mental purity, you'll be more efficient. That also I have my doubts. In fact, you will be able to do your duties more peacefully, bas. Good enough, ji. Good enough. If you can work, if you can go to office peacefully, work peacefully and come back peaceful and have a peaceful night, I think that's Karma Yoga. Therefore, Karma Yoga, the purpose of Karma Yoga is not to increase efficiency but to create mental purity. Bhashyam is not meant for Mia. It is not even for mental purity. It is not even for mental peace. It is meant to help you discover, determine the nature of the truth. I am repeating it again and again because this is where very important. Vedanta is not meant to give you a limited result. It is meant to help you understand your position in the creation, your position. You are not one of the creations. I am in the nature of the self. Therefore here, arabhyate sansara vyavivrit sansara hetu nivritti sadhana brahmatmaikatva vidya pratipattaye. What great phrases, what great samasas he writes. I say, how can you? All right, you are writing this Bhashya for helping the jignasus. But in what way can you help them? He says, sansara hetu, the cause of samsara. The cause of samsara is ignorance. Sansara hetu, nivritti, the remover of the reason of samsara. Sadhana, the means that removes the reason for the cause of samsara. The means that removes the cause of samsara. What is that means? Brahmatmaikatva vidya, the knowledge that Atma is Brahma. Brahma, Atma, Ekatva vidya. Brahma is Atma, Atma is Brahma. In this manner, jo vidya hai, that vidya becomes the sadhanam for removing the cause for samsara. Are you able to follow the whole phrase? Sansara hetu nivritti sadhana brahma atma ekatva vidya pratipattaye praptaye, to gain. In order to achieve the knowledge that Atma is Brahman, which is the sole means to removing the cause of samsara. And which cause of samsara he is himself going to say. Therefore, sansara hetu nivritti sadhana brahmatmaikatva vidya pratipattaye, for achieving that knowledge. For whose benefit? Jignasubhyaha, for the benefit of those who want to be free from samsara. I want to help them to gain the knowledge that Atma is Brahma. And for their benefit, I am writing this brief commentary. He says it is brief. Maybe when he began, he thought he would be brief. Maybe he thought he would be brief. And then he went on writing, my God, I can't be brief here. There is so much. That is why even when you go into the Bhashyam, it's not easy. That is why Shastram Shastra Viduhu. शास्त्र कौन जानते हैं? जो शास्त्र को जानते हैं वही शास्त्र को जानते हैं. It is not easy to just round it up and go. The more you see, the more it keeps on unfolding. Then, Sayam, this Brahma Vidya, Upanishad Shabda Vachya. It is otherwise called Upanishad. Brahma Vidya is otherwise called Upanishad. That means the word Upanishad means literally Brahma Vidya, understanding the truth. Sa Yam Brahma Vidya Upanishad Shabda Vachya Tat Paranam. Those who are dedicated to it. Tat Paraha. Very, very beautiful. Tat Paraha. Tat Paraha means to be dedicated. There is no other topic. Like the eyes are Rupa Para. Do they have any distraction? Do the eyes have any distraction from the colors? Do they get distracted to the sound? Do the ears get distracted to the form? Does one sense organ get distracted from one sense object to another sense object? How the senses are totally choicelessly dedicated. It's not an effort. If the eyes don't get distracted to the sound, is it an effort? It is its nature. If the ears don't get distracted to the form, that is its nature. And even in the case of a jiva, who understands that happiness is in the hands of, happiness is the nature of the truth, then his dedication to understanding the truth becomes as effortless as eyes' dedication to present form. A jignasu's dedication to understanding the truth becomes as effortless as the eye's dedication to see the form. Therefore, it ceases to be an effort. If it is an effort, then the distractions can take place. Temporary distraction is not a distraction. Distraction means, you suddenly lose the value for it and then go for something else. That is a different thing. You can't lose the value for Brahma Vidya if you have understood the value. For such people, that is called Tat Paranam. For the benefit of those people who are dedicated to Upanishad, Sahetoho, along with the cause of samsara, Sansarasya Sansaraka, Atyanta Avasadanat, it destroys. Upanishad is something that destroys the cause for samsara in the case of those people who are dedicated to it. Upanishad destroys the cause of samsara in the case of those people who are dedicated to knowing, understanding the Upanishad. That is why it is called Sansarasya Atyanta Avasadanat. Atyanta means totally. Avasadanat means bringing it to an end. So it is called Upanishad because it destroys samsara for good. Upanipurvasya, and there are two prepositions called Upa and Ni. And the dhatu with which it is derived, from which the Upanishad is derived, is Sat. Sadehe, Sadi means Sad, Sad. Sad dhatu ka, tadarthatva, that is the meaning of Sad dhatu. The meaning of Sat dhatu is the meaning of the root Sat, prefixed by with the prefix of Upa and Ni. The root Sat with the two prefixes of Upa and Ni carries the meaning of the destroyer, of being the destroyer of the cause for samsara. Bas. The Sat is a Sanskrit root with Upandini before it, carries the connotation of being the destroyer of sansara. Upanipurvasya sadehe tadarthatvat. Therefore, by definition, Upanishad is Brahma Vidya, meaning the destroyer of the cause for sansara. And that way, by destroying the cause for sansara, it destroys sansara. Bas. Brahma Vidya, by definition, is the destroyer of sansara by way of destroying the cause for sansara. It is a very important thing. If you say it destroys sansara, it is not complete. It is a destroyer of sansara by way of destroying the cause of sansara. The cause of sansara is avidya. It will be introduced slowly. And just as Brahma Vidya is called Upanishad, that is the Mukhyartha, Brahma Vidya is the Mukhyartha. The Mukhyar, Brahma Vidya is the Mukhyartha of the word Upanishad. The book which has the mantras, written mantras, the book is also meant for that Vidya. Therefore, by Gauna Vritti, even the book is called Upanishad. So we have got Mukhya Vritti and Gauna Vritti. ये समझना पड़ेंगे आपको, कितनी भी मुश्किल हो, you have to give your mind. Mukhya Vritti means primary sense. Gauna Vritti means the secondary sense, the figurative sense. The primary meaning of the Upanishad is understanding the truth, bas. The entire vision of the truth. The vision of the truth is Upanishad. The unfoldment of that nature of the truth is also called Upanishad. Understanding or unfolding the nature of the truth is called Upanishad. That is the primary sense. But all that is in the form of mantras are also printed in the form of a book. So the book is meant for that knowledge. Therefore, it is also called Upanishad. By which vritti? By Gauna Vritti, means a figurative sense. It's not. Upanishad literally doesn't mean the book. Upanishad literally means understanding the truth. That is called Upanishad. That jnanam is like in a book of science is there, physics book is there. Physics does not mean the book. The primary sense of the physics is the knowledge about physics. That knowledge about physics is physics. That knowledge about the physical laws is physics. But that is arrived at, that is conveyed through these words. Therefore these words also are called science. But by which vritti? Gauna Vritti. I hope you are able to follow. So Gauna Vritti. A book of history. History is something else. When we say history, all that has happened before, that is called literally the meaning of the word history. But there is a book talking about it. That book also is history by Gauna Vritti. Music, the book of music book. So that music does not mean Mukhya Vritti is music. And that which talks about music, that also is called Gauna Vritya, music. And therefore this helps the students. Buying Upanishad is not Upanishad. Memorizing the whole Upanishad also is not Upanishad. Understanding it is Upanishad. But to understand it you require a book. Therefore respect the book also. Respect the book also, because that is the sadhanam for understanding it. Clear? Adi. Now here I have to add one more sentence. Not only Brahma Vidya is Upanishad, Brahma Upasana also is Upanishad. Brahma Vidya is Upanishad. By Mukhya Vritti, Brahma Vidya is Upanishad. And all the accessories to it are also Upanishad. Brahma Upasana becomes an accessory meaning it prepares the student for it. And all the values, disciplines and austerities taught in the Upanishad to prepare a person for Brahma Vidya also become accessories. The various sadhanas taught in Vedanta for helping a student to understand Brahman, those also become a part of Upanishad. Thus all the Brahma Upasanas are a part of Upanishad. All the values are part of Upanishad, etc., etc. This is overview. Next, आराम से सुनना. स्वामी जी, हमने सोचा था कि बृहदारण्यक में कुछ नई चीज हो. We were all so excited to hear that Swamiji is going to start some Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, and we thought there is going to be something new, different from Chandogya Upanishad. सारी excitement पानी में, इस पर पानी फेर दिया. It's all gone, it's useless, it's all the same thing. It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. The truth, anyway. Every day you look for happiness, the same thing. Please. One thing I can tell you. Even if you look at it repeatedly, truth can never bore you if you really make that the topic. If you keep some information the topic, it can bore you. If you keep in your mind, the goal of some information, then it can bore you. Here the words are the same, the phrases are the same, the methodology of unfoldment is the same, but yet it doesn't bore us. Why? Because it is not these words that are the topic in our mind, it is the truth, our being the topic. Our being the topic. And once the being is the topic, is the being information? Is the being a phrase? Is the being a word? Is our existence a word? Is our existence a phrase? Is our existence a sentence? Is our existence even the whole book? No. Our existence cannot be boring. As long as that existence is the topic. Same unfoldment done 1,000 times cannot. It is not in the nature of the truth to become boring. Please understand. What has an alternative can be boring. What has no alternative cannot be boring. If what doesn't have an alternative, if it starts boring, it's a crisis. Aji. If what doesn't have an alternative, that starts boring, then it is a crisis. And it is a crisis. Yes. And therefore, don't think, जब लोग सोचते थे कुछ नहीं होगा जी. Don't have to celebrate. It's just continuation. Sa-yam shadadhyayi. This. Sa-yam means this. Pointedly referring to something is called Sa-yam. This Upanishad. Upanishad is feminine gender. Therefore, Sa-yam Upanishad. Shadadhyayi. Shadadhyayi. 6 adhyay wali Upanishad, having 6 adhyaya, 6 chapters. We are going to see the first chapter, second chapter, third chapter and the fourth chapter. 5th and 6th we will see, we haven't decided. 5th and 6th, in fact, Upadesha is complete with the 4th. Yajnavalkya's Upadesha is complete, is over with the completion of the 4th. Reverse thoda bahut. But our sankalpa is to do the highlights of the 3 and the whole of the 4th, for which we require Bhagavan's anugraha. Therefore, not only I should pray for his grace, you should also collectively pray for Bhagavan's grace. Because this Bhashyam is going to be very beautiful. to have the steadfastness of listening. Sayam Shadadhyayi Aranye, in the forest. Anuchyamanatvat. Anuchyamanatvat means being taught. Upadishyamanatvat. This Upanishad is taught in Aranya. Why it is taught in Aranya? Aranya is a word that means ekanta, which means in tranquility, in quietude, solitude. And if this is something that is taught in solitude, and where can you go for solitude, ji? Aranyam. Yes. Nowadays, even if Kaikeyi orders Ram to go for Aranyavasam, he is going to have a nice time because there is no Aranyam. All holiday resorts are all in the forest. Therefore, you can't even, that is why Bhagavan does not take avatar at this time, because if he has to go on exile, where will he go? Nor can he spend time. 14 years with whom? Those days there were sages with whom he was able to spend time. Aranya means nowadays anyway there is no Aranyam. In fact, Ramana Kendra is Aranyam. Haji. Where you are not disturbed, that is solitude. You have to edit your definition of solitude as the times go by. You have to edit your definition of solitude as the times go by. Why? Because ultimately you have to say that wherever you are not disturbed, there is some solitude. A few feet around, nobody is there. That is solitude. A little space around, solitude. A little space around. Even your own drawing room is solitude. Sayam Shadadhyayi Aranye Anuchyamanatvat Aranyakam. It is called Aranyakam. Brihatvat, because it is huge. Parimanataha, in volume. Brihadaranyakam. The whole description of this Upanishad is called Brihadar. It is Brihat because it is huge. It is Aranyakam because don't teach it in noise. It is something to be studied in solitude with a lot of leisure in your mind. You can't do it in a hurry. That is Brihadaranyakam. Clear? Now, Brihatvat Parimanataha Brihadaranyakam. Tasya Asya. And this Upanishad is Upanishad Ka Karma Kandena, with Karma Kanda, with human, with the Vedic rituals, with the empirical actions as well as Vedic actions. Karma Kanda must include not only Vaidika Karma Kanda but also Laukika Karma Kanda. Laukika Karma Kanda is Krishi, Vanijyam, Seva. These three. Krishi. Man does farming to create prosperity and ultimately enjoy. Bhoga. He wants to do business so that he can create money and ultimately Bhoga. The final desire is Bhoga. Krishi, Vanijyam, Seva. A person also does Seva so that he can build up money and ultimately Bhoga. And Vaidika karma he wants to do so that ultimately Bhagavan can give him some loka where he can do Bhoga. Bhoga here and hereafter. Laukika karma is for Bhoga here. Vaidika karma is done for Bhoga hereafter. इसको अच्छी तरह से समझ लीजिए. Don't pretend innocence or lack of competence to understand or anything. You all are educated and this is an opportunity for you to understand. Laukika karma is for Bhoga here. Vaidika karma is for Bhoga here and mainly hereafter, future. That is why, in order to do Krishi Vanijyam Seva, which are meant for Bhoga here, you don't have to study Veda. Laukika karma karne ke liye you don't have to consult Veda. But for doing Vaidika karma, you have to consult Veda, and there are so many other things. Therefore, when we say karma kanda, it should not only mean Vaidika karma kanda, it should also mean Laukika karma kanda. And I'm including the Laukika karma kanda because, a person who thinks Vaidika karma is everything, he gets vairagya when we highlight the limitation of Vaidika karma. But there are people who don't look upon Vaidika karma as everything, but most of the people look upon Laukika karma as everything, which is looked upon as the means to their bhoga. I hope you have followed it. Most of the people look upon Laukika karma as the means to everything. For them, if we highlight the limitation of Laukika karma, they get vairagya. And they become students of Vedanta. Why not? They can become students of Vedanta. And they can always do the extension. So, a Vaidika karmata thinks, just as the Laukika karma has limited result, similarly Vaidika karma also has limited result. So for him, Laukika karma becomes the drishtantam, Vaidika karma becomes the darshtantam. And for a Laukika, also he can see the limitation of the Laukika karma. He says, just as the Laukika karma is limited, similarly Vaidika karma also would be limited. So he would grow out of both Laukika karma and Vaidika karma together. Did you hear? You have to hear, ji. You have to hear. A layman can grow out of both the Laukika karma and Vaidika karma by just perceiving the limitation of Laukika karma, whereas a Vaidika karmata can grow out of both Laukika karma and Vaidika karma by seeing, by being told and by observing, of course, the limitation of the Laukika karma and also the limitation of Vaidika karma. Thus, both have to grow out of both. Supposing a Vaidika karmata, a person who is doing karma, Vaidika karma, and he gets bored with Vaidika karma, then he renounces the Vaidika karma and takes to many people. There's some people leave Veda and start dealing in skins and hides. There is one Iyengar. If there is any Iyengar here, don't curse me. If there is an Iyengar in Madras who buys, the skins of the animals, cows' skins, etc., and he sells them. Yes, karma hai ji, prarabdha hota hai, wo bhi ek prarabdha hai, to be sympathized. A person who is supposed to be doing Krishnaya Namaha, Govindaya Namaha, etc., he goes after from village to village looking for the skins of cows. What is it? Is bhagyam or is prarabdham? A bad prarabdham. Therefore, you don't have to envy every rich man. The majority of them need to be sympathized. Haji, yes, I am telling you. Most well educated and wasting time. But anyway, Vedanta here Bhagavan says, thus I am concluding it, Tasya asya karma kandena, this Upanishad has a certain relationship with karma kanda. Karma kandena, sambandha, the relationship, abhidhiyate, is being given below. Bhashyakara says, I am going to show the connection between karma kanda and Vedanta. What is the connection? There is no connection. I say, karma kanda creates vairagyam in you. That is the connection. Karma kanda creates Vairagya. By seeing the limitation of karma kanda, you get the vairagya. Because if action can't give me the fulfillment, then if a result cannot give me the fulfillment. Listen to this phrase. If a result can't give me the fulfillment, then what already is should be the answer. If what comes about is not the answer, if what comes about is not the answer, then what is the answer. So what is the affinity? What is the connection between Karmakanda and Vedanta? Understanding the limitation of Karmakanda connects the individual with Vedanta. That I am going to talk. Bhashyakara says in the commentary. That we will see later. Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om.